Looking for the cheapest prices for all your favorite mobile games? Check out the Piden and Mocha digital shop for the lowest prices on Dokkan, OPTC, and many more. They're actually having their final Digimon Link sale, so if you're interested in that, link in the description. And let's get straight into the video. Yo, what is up guys? Boris here coming to you guys with another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Now today, we're going to be taking a look at Treasure Mode, aka Adventure Mode. This is going to be a feature that's going to be coming out really soon, and we even have a commercial for it. If you haven't checked it out, I'll probably leave a link down below to the commercial. It's really cool. JP has had it for a few months already. Today I'm going to be breaking down the top tips on what you need to know when you go into your first Treasure Mode. Now I want to do something first. I want to keep in mind that there are going to be some major changes happening for the next JP Treasure Mode, which I'll talk about in the video. So some of these things might change. Also, global Treasure Mode might be a little bit different. You never know. But for the most part, these are the main tips that I recommend that everyone needs to know when they go into the Treasure Mode for their first time. So the first thing that you guys need to know is you need to look at the point boosting units ahead of time. So what do I mean? Well, in Treasure Mode, the whole idea is to get as many points as possible. The more runs you do, the more points you get. It's sort of like a blitz battle, except that instead of there being a fixed number of points you get per run, the more runs you do, the more tougher, it gets harder. So in order to maximize the number of points you get, you want to look at your point boosters. Now the point boosters for each Treasure Mode are pretty easy to calculate for the most part. Just take every unit that's been released since the previous Treasure Mode. They're all going to be point boosted, and then they go ahead and point boost some old school characters. So maybe some old Legends, some old Fortnites. Definitely, this is going to be the number one thing you should look at before you even go into Treasure Mode, is what point boosted units are, because you want to go ahead and assign your teams. Now the reason you want to assign your teams is very simple. You can only run each unit once per the entire gauntlet. I'm going to call it a gauntlet. So pretty much you're going to move through the map and then you reach the gauntlet. You have to fight 4 bosses and then you have to fight the actual final boss. So that's 5 different teams you have to make, and you cannot use the same unit twice during that gauntlet. So you're going to want to have as many units as possible, and you want to look at the point boosters ahead of time so you can go ahead and theory craft what kind of teams you want to make. Keep in mind that with the new changes coming up on JP Treasure Mode, if you're in the East Blue, which is the lowest category, you will actually be able to use the same unit more than once. I think that's a new change they're doing. And if I didn't mention this earlier, there are 3 different tiers: East Blue, Grand Line, and New World. You're going to be placed in them depending on your pirate level for the first one, and then after that, if you score high, you go up; if you score low, you go down. So how do you know what point boosted units, which other point boosted units are available? Well, like I said, just every unit that's been released since the previous Treasure Mode. You can actually click on the seagull right here, click on this button and the middle one, and you can see coming soon. So it'll show what unit it is. We already know that on JP, I believe we are getting the tag team Zoro and Sanji, and then these are all in Japanese, but there's a Reddit thread. If you play JP, like this is the new Sugo Fest badge here, this is probably the team I'm going to be using. And on top of that, on global it should be in English, so you'll be able to know what exactly is going to be boosted up. Now the next tip I want to tell you guys is, once you know what the point boosted units are, assign one mega team. So what I mean by a mega team is the team that you're going to use on the board that's going to get you a bunch of points, and then a team that you're going to use on the final boss, which is normally the same team you use on the board. The reason I say this is because the most of your points are going to come from the final boss. He gives the most points, so you want to have the highest multiplier on that team, and therefore you want to craft a team that gives you the highest point boost, and that's able to clear the final boss. That way you'll be able to rack up points really quickly. So for instance, right now, as you can see, this is a team I'll probably be running something similar to this, I'm going to assume, because all these units are I think the new rare recruits are 1.35 boosted. I think the new legend is 1.5 boosted for this adventure mode. This is going to be probably my mega team, somewhere around this, unless there's going to be future units that are boosted even further. Then I'll definitely keep going. Now keep in mind that for every treasure mode thus far in JP, we have gotten a treasure mode Sugo with 2 rate boosted units that are pretty much useless outside of the treasure mode, but if you have them for the treasure mode, you get ridiculous amount of points. Some are 2 times boost, so they double the amount of points you get. And so if there is a point boost Sugo, I'll probably pull on it, and if I can get either of the 2 units, I'll probably throw them on the team. But at the end of the day, you want a mega team that you can go through the board. And when I say the board, you fight 4 mini bosses on the board. They're really easy. And then when you get to the gauntlet, you fight the 4 bosses again, but you fight their hard versions. If you defeat the mini boss on the board, then when you get to the gauntlet portion, they're going to be around 20 to 30% HP. So that's another tip, is fight as many of the bosses on the board as possible. Not only do you get a bunch of points, you also get some limit break material, but it does make the final boss fights a lot easier. And you also want to pick and choose which one you take out, because if there's one mini boss that you're really struggling against, that's probably the one you should take out on the board, so that when you get to him, he's really low, pretty easy to take out. And so again, this all comes down to assigning teams. Not only do you want to get good teams that have good point values, especially now on JP, they actually boosted the point values of some of the old free-to-play characters or some of the returning characters. But you also want teams that match up well, and you want to strategize therefore on which unit you want to take out on the board, because that will make it a lot easier to fight certain bosses. Now, some really important tips are: be ready to level up once the adventure mode starts. As you can see right now, let me show you actually by going into the actual treasure mode here. Now it's not live right now, so I can't really show you that much, but as you can see on the right hand corner, I'm at 200 out of 100 stamina. So treasure mode, you get a fixed 100 stamina. Everybody has this. There's no way to increase it or decrease it. Well, yeah, there's 100 stamina, but you can't overflow it. So right now I'm at 200. So when adventure mode starts, I'll have 200 stamina. Every roll of the die will take up certain stamina. I think original ones it took like 5. Now it takes 6, something like that, per roll. And if you level up your pirate level, it will actually refill. So one of the things you can do to get an extra pretty much gem, free gem, is to go ahead and be ready to level up. By the time adventure mode starts, use your stamina in adventure mode, and then level up, do a Fortnite or Colosseum or something, and then it refills all your stamina. You get 100 free stamina. Unfortunately, snails will not refill it, so pretty much leveling up is the only way. So again, that's something that you can do to save a free gem. You want to be running Fortnite and Colosseums anyways during it, so you can try to maybe level up again. And the other tip I want to give you guys is that pretty much every map win increases your level by 1. So you don't ever want to lose, because if you lose 5 levels, which essentially equals 5 runs. So what do I mean by level? Well, as your level increases, you get a lot more points, but you also have to fight harder bosses. You have to fight harder versions of them. They have more HP and they do more attack at the gauntlet. The board ones, I believe, stay the same. So every time you win, your level goes up by 1. Unfortunately, if you do lose, they will go down by 5, which means that, okay, you're set back 5 runs, which is, I mean, that's about 2 to 3 hours worth of runs, which really sucks. So a few things you can do: you can revive. Also, if you think you're gonna struggle due to a debuff, there are buffs and debuffs you can pick up on the board. If you are struggling due to a debuff, you can actually back out at any time. However, well, not at any time. You can back out, but you have to defeat at least 1 boss on the gauntlet. So just take out someone on the board, take out an easy boss, and then you can actually back out and without having to lose those 5 levels. So again, you have to take out at least 1 gauntlet boss before that option is available. You can back out at any time to pause it, in the sense you can pause adventure mode at any time, but you can't actually back out. You have to keep going. But once you clear that 1 gauntlet boss, you do have the option to back out and restart the adventure mode. You will not lose any ranks, but you will not go up in your ranks. So that's another really important tip. In case you get maybe attack down for everybody or health down for everybody, those debuffs can be pretty brutal. So whenever I get those, I do consider backing out at some point. Now the other tip, guys, is that you only need 1,000,000 points to complete the character. So each adventure mode will have a highlight character that you want to sort of farm for. As I mentioned, the first one was the Mihawk. So when it comes to global, it'll probably be Mihawk. But again, global can do things out of order. I don't want to. This is all just assuming that global does things in the same order that JP did them in. So you only need 1,000,000 points, and as you can see here, I'll tell you why. These are the point rankings. The more points you get, the more rewards you get. And once you hit on 1,000,000 points, let me show you. Let me go up. So this is for the Sabo, the treasure mode Sabo. Once you hit 1,000,000 points, you get the character. So I ended up actually with 1,000,000 and 55,000 points for this one. Just barely got it. I just went for the Sabo. As you can see, there's a lot of rewards. But once you get 1,000,000 points, you have enough to max out the entire treasure mode character, limit break him, fully plus 200 him. Not plus 200. Sorry, fully limit break him, fully rainbow him. And I mean, you do get a lot of cotton candy, so you probably will actually be able to plus 200 him. And then later adventure modes have the option of going above 1 million for more rewards. So it's something you definitely want to do if you have the time for it. But you don't have to do this. This is all extra. You actually get some skill up meats, and this is actually the return of the original Mihawk, so you could farm him. But these are the points you want to look out for. Again, 1 million points is what you want to aim for. 1 million points really is not that bad because this treasure mode tends to last a whole week. As long as you play whenever your stamina's up and running, and maybe if you need to refill a little bit, you do get gems along the way. You should be able to do this pretty easily free to play. It just takes time. And just remember to be constantly doing it when your adventure mode stamina is up. And the final tip, guys, is there is another way to get rewards, and that is the overall rankings. So overall rankings, depending on where you rank, you're gonna get rewards. Now, because I only went for 1 million, I ended up top 15k, which really sucks. Doesn't really give much. But to give you an example, if you end up, let's say you want to end up top 800 is normally a really good place to end up. It's top 8,000. Oh, this, by the way, I think this treasure mode gave a lot of stuff, but let me see. If you want to end top 800, like for instance right here, yeah, this was a special treasure mode. This is the most rewards they've ever given. I think this was only a 3-day adventure mode. So these are one of the special ones. This one in the Gear 4 where they're only 3 days, but you just get really nice rewards, enough to limit break a lot of characters. You get these tablets. These tablets, guys, are going to be the only way to level up the limit break sockets unless you pull dupes, and you get spheres and stuff. So golden books. So you want to try to aim for a nice reward as well there if you have the point boosters. And I think that pretty much covers everything for adventure mode. I guess the only thing I haven't really mentioned, I did mention it, but pulling for the adventure mode characters is one of the more annoying things in the game. A lot of people have complained about it. I've complained about it. The point boosters, it pretty much makes this a pay to win, aka a high score challenge, which we used to make fun of for for Kingdom Hearts. The Kingdom Hearts mobile game had something called the high score challenge, where if you pulled for the most recent units, then you would have a really good advantage going into the high score challenge. However, the high score challenge in that game was just one small event, where this is a huge portion of the game. I'm not really a fan of having to pull for the boosted units, but that's a rant for a whole nother video, guys. So while the treasure mode is awesome and you get a lot of rewards and everything, it does have the downside that it's really a pay to win mode at the end of the day. So try, this is going to be again a topic for another video, but pulling on adventure mode 2 go, it's going to be up to you whether you want to do so or not. But I think this video has gone on for long enough, guys. I don't want to ramble anymore. Thanks again for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about adventure mode down below. So I'll definitely answer them. Hit me up on Twitter as well if you want to. And yeah, as soon as they announce it, I'll make a video letting you guys know. And it should be Mihawk is the first one if it follows the same order. But maybe Global will spice things up. You never know. So with that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Talk to you guys in the next video. And until then, peace.